Hello, everybody. Welcome to our panel, which is about buying and selling rights again. So we are sort of entering a familiar territory, but we'll try not to repeat ourselves, and we'll try to talk more about trends and how books travel and how culture travels between countries. My name is Tasja Dorkofikis. I am a publisher from Linden Editions, so from the UK, and we are small, new, independent, and we publish only books in translation at the moment from Europe and the Mediterranean basin. And we haven't published, we've got 6 books out and 11 under contract. And I've got various panelists here with us, and we're starting with Joanna Maciuk from Wydawnictwo Mięta from Poland, and the different sizes of publishing houses. And I would say that's an indie but small, quite commercial, and I will ask people to introduce themselves afterwards. Then we have Desmeures from Noir sur Blanc, and Notabilia from France. It's a part of a bigger group, and mainly French writers and translated writers, and then Marie will talk. Then we have Deniz Topaktas from Turkey, who is from the biggest company here. It's a big conglomerate, and she'll talk about her experiences there. And Adrian Kasnitz from Parasitenpresse from Germany, which is a small independent. I mean, not small, because you've got quite a lot of books already. So maybe if we start, I wanted you all to say what you are doing in your company, a little bit about your company, and a little bit whether you're buying or selling or doing both. And maybe if I start with Adrian from the other end.
Kalisperas, good evening. I'm Adrian from Colonia in Germany, and we, as Parasitenpresse, we are into poetry and something like short novel or short stories, smaller books that the bigger publishing houses don't do. I think we are a small independent publisher, but we do 24 books a year, so it's not so small. And I think the question about small or big is it's not the adequate question for me. It's more like, is it something like an entrepreneurship or like an artist thing to do books? And we are more like artists. So I'm like the poets the poet from Basque Country said, so we need some publishers that are artists too, and that's how we do books. And the half of the titles that we do is from German-speaking countries, and the other half is in translation from several countries. We have from the beginning strong focus on the Spanish-speaking world, Latin America, but it's we are open to any languages. I think another focus that was building up somehow is like Middle Eastern European or Southeastern European, including Greek literature, but we're doing publications from Scandinavia as well, or from different countries.
And Deniz next.
Hello everyone, this is Deniz from Istanbul. I'm from a publishing house called Isbank Cultural Publications. We've been founded in 1950s with the objective of bringing other languages, other literatures to Turkish readers. So I would say maybe 80% of our catalog, which is around 6,000 books, are translations. We publish around over 300 new titles each year. and I'm here to buy. I try to attend all the fellowships and book fairs to have a better understanding about the literary world of a certain country. For example, Greece is a neighbor country for us. We do have some books that are licensed from Greek language, but I think this is going to be a better idea. I will have a better idea on what the market here. So like many other languages other than English, many of our translations are from English language, but we try languages like European languages. We have French, German, Italian, Spanish books, and we try to have more books on like Korean, Japanese, Chinese. And in our catalog, we do have adult and children's titles. We don't do commercial publishing. Other than that, we are open to strong literary voices and new ideas in the world, what will become of the world, and those sort of books. I think that's all for now. Mm-hmm. Was it okay?
Hello, I'm Marie from France. I'm working for Noir sur Blanc. Noir sur Blanc has been created in 40 years ago, and it's really specialized for literature from Eastern Europe, so Poland, Romania, Russia, etc. But I'm in a little collection inside Noir sur Blanc called Notabilia, where I publish French literature and 2/3 French literature and 1/3 translated literature. And it occurs that I can speak and read Greek. So before that, because I've been here only for 8 months, before I spent more than 20 years at Actes Sud Publishing in France, where I have published, maybe 15 or 20 Greek writers, at least 15. I cannot remember exactly. And I'm here because I would love to find a new Greek writer for my new collection. But as I also publish French literature, if by chance it occurs that I sell one, I will be very happy.
Hi, I'm Joanna Maciuk from Mięta publishing house. Mięta, it means mint, so we are looking for new, fresh voices. So far, we publish only domestic authors. This year, we will publish our first foreign author that I bought after Sydney Fellowship. So I think that being part of fellowships, it allows you to learn the market, learn the culture, to understand better the literature. So it also helps to buy some rights. So, and to explore also, I think, the market. At Mięta, I'm on the both side, which is quite unusual. So probably in the most bigger companies, there is people who are only acquiring or only selling. I'm doing both.
I thought it would be interesting to think about the criteria of how we acquire books, and what's the process of making a decision, and maybe think about the pitches as well, how they work. So I thought again, just a quick. The question is, could you give us an example of for the book that you bought, for example, more recently or generally recently? What was the criteria and why this one and not the not something else? How do you decide? Shall I start with you?
Yeah, so I will start. As I said, I bought one title from Sydney after Sydney Fellowship, so it was Australian title. And why this one? Because during the travel there, I really was learning a lot about the market, and I could understand better actually the literature. Normally when we are thinking about English-speaking countries, we mostly think about US and UK, and it allows me to see the variety also of Australian literature. And I heard the pitch during one of the dinners, and I just fell in love with it while I was traveling in Australia. I just could sit on the train and read it and really feel the atmosphere because of being there. So I think it's also very important. So that's why we actually bought it.
And my question would be: was it already published in Australia? Did you check sales figures? Did you check whether it's sold internationally somewhere else, or did it interest you?
I mean, of course, when we are thinking about buying rights, I think for all of us, the sales copies are important, or the prices. But in this case, I was reading the proof copy. It was for us as a small indie publishing house, it's important that we need to fall in love with the book, and we need to feel this book, that we want to publish it, that we think it's something exceptional, and that we will give the right promotion for it. So for us, this is also important, not only the sales figures and the prices.
Who would like to go next?
We just talked about the figures and the sales. So I want to talk not about the last one I bought, but one of the first I bought, because it was here in Thessaloniki. I think it was in 25. I look at Katerina because she was the agent. Yeah, the second year of the book fair, and I'm very sensible to the writing of the authors in French and in Greek. And I remember I chose a book by Christos Chrysopoulos, who was then not known at all, I think. And I remember someone here in Greece asking me, but why did you buy this book? He's not well known, he doesn't sell a lot of books. And I said, I don't care, I just love that book, and I believe in what this writer can become. And well, now I think he's a very well-known writer in Greece. At Actes Sud Publishing, I think I've published 4 or 5 books by him. The sales weren't good, but I'm very proud to have it. And he has been invited a lot of times in France for many festivals. So I think I did my job right. And it was just a crush on the writing and the atmosphere, and that's why it attracts me. And now that I am at Notabilia and I will work on languages I even don't speak, don't understand, I'm anxious and curious to see how I will choose a translation from Bulgarian or Italian, and I would love to find an Arab writer, because I'm in love with Mediterranean generally. But it's difficult for me to choose, because my choice has been so far always based on the writing. So I need good translators to help me.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about a different story, maybe this one. Last year when I attended Bologna Book Fair, there was that huge publishing house, maybe I can say, this was Penguin UK, and I saw that dog character with blue background, Bluey, if you know, everywhere. So I sent an email. Claire, was it you? No. Yeah. Asking, who is this character and why am I seeing this everywhere in Bologna? So then, because it's also a TV show, there was a issue with rights. First they had to find a streaming channel, etc. But we managed to say that we want to be part of that. So from there, all the bidding process, etc. But it was something that I feel like if I wasn't at the fair at Bologna, I wouldn't see that, and we wouldn't be the Turkish publisher of Bluey. So that's it.
Yeah, maybe 2 stories about that answer. One short. So the last one was poetry book by female poet from Faroe Islands. These are the small islands between Scotland and Iceland, and it was like, the book came out 1 week ago, and it's written by a very young poet, and but it's already translated into English as well. And Nancy Sunadottir, and it was like so that's important how or that's the reason why translators are important, because it comes from the translator, and it was like a written pitch. So hey, I have something, you have already published things from Scandinavia, maybe it's interesting for you. And so it was a very fast process in that case. In another story, and it's maybe that's more unbelievable, it's like once I was a fellowship in Latvia, another small country, and I heard about a novel that is very famous there. Everybody has read it, and they couldn't find publishing house in Germany for that book. Jelgava 94. It's a novel about heavy metal in Latvia in the 90s, and so yeah, but at this time I wasn't interested into novels at all, so I didn't care, and then I was just curious, and there was a English translation as well, so I bought it to read it just for fun, and then later I asked the colleagues from Latvia how it's going with that novel, who will publishing it or who will publish it in Germany, and they said nobody, and so I said, okay, if there is nobody, then it's me.
So how much do you need to read of a novel before you decide to publish it? How does it work for you?
Yeah, I think in novels it's it's hard to say. For example, if there are English or French translations, I can read it. But if there is only the original language that I can't understand, it's but a chapter could be good. So in poetry it's easier because you can decide by. So I travel sometimes to festivals just to listen to poets, and even I don't understand the language, I have an image or an impression of the rhythm, the sound, the presence on stage, and things like that. So I can decide more easily.
I would say you read a bit to decide if you're going to read the whole book.
And how can you read the whole? Do you read the whole book through another language or through? Let's mention it AI, or what do you?
No, if it's from a different language, we try if there's a sample translation. I mean, some of our editors can read from German, French, and we have some readers. They can send their reports. But the best way, I think, for a smaller market, let's say, less known language, to have a sample translation, at least I would say.
Yeah. And I guess
the tradition at Actes Sud was that for each language published, there was a special counselor, advisor, who could read this language. When I started at Actes Sud 25 years ago or so, it was really specific. The other publishing houses didn't work that way. And it's not the same anymore, even at Actes Sud. And I thought it was wonderful. You can imagine this person didn't make money with this activity. There were teachers or diplomats or journalists or translators themselves. But it was very, very interesting to have a reading by someone who could read exactly. And now I'm supposed, like I was saying, to choose just with a sample. So my colleagues told me we have a deeper advice. Maybe I'm gonna start and use it just to have an idea of the pitch of the. But like I was saying, what attracts me is the language, the writing. So I think people can't help me.
No. You need one needs a sample.
So maybe a good sample by a good translator will be much more efficient.
Yeah. Though I have found DeepL useful to see how the story unfolds. So once you know that the that the language is interesting and the voice is interesting, then you can sort of assess what will happen with the story. So it's imperfect, but it's there. Yeah. And talking about DeepL, translators obviously are panicking all over the place about the influence of AI, and they would, I think, even not want us to read things in AI translation, just to assess them, because it's true that it's not a perfect assessment. How do you work with translators, and do you have your favorite translators? And how does it work for smaller languages or lesser translated languages? When you go from Turkish to, I don't know, Finnish, do you have a lot of people do you have a choice?
No. No. I mean, that's a big issue. It's most of the times when we want to license the Turkish translations rights of a book, first we try to understand if we can find the suitable translator, and it's not even with less known languages. It can be German, for example, it can be French, because I believe it's also about knowing the Turkish language. It's not only about knowing the original language. So you can find many people that knows that language, but they don't know how to say it in Turkish. So I would say we try not to use artificial intelligence at all. So we talk with translators, we send them the books, and you think this is something that you would do in that period of time. But it's tricky for some languages. Yes, maybe from Greek we have one very good translator, and thanks to him, we have over 15 books translated to Turkish.
And it's a queue, yeah.
But we are like, don't go and translate to anyone.
Yeah.
Something like that, I think.
I think I would say we work with a pool, or with a pool of people, of translators who are maybe, in the case of poetry, by themselves poets, and I would rather not do a book than to decide for the book and then look for the translators. So it's like without the translators, it's impossible.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, there are various initiatives in the UK to encourage emerging translators. And there's a mentorship, there is translating courses, and also there is a discussion going on about people translating into this so-called heritage language. So if you are, or should we only translate into a native language, or can we also translate into a language that we came from, not the other way around, And is there a similar discussion going on in your countries?
I think for Germany, or for the German-speaking countries.
Could a Turkish person, for example, who lives in Germany, translate into German?
Yeah, it's
possible. And is it a practice that's?
Yeah, I think it's considered as a creative process to translate, and even from the juridical side, it's like the text belongs to the translator and not to the author anymore if it's translated into the new language. So I think, and it's possible for everybody. For sure, it's a question of is it appropriate to translate this or that person, and it could be, and sometimes in poetry it's rather interesting to do it otherwise. So because I guess often the language will be more more unusual or more interesting. Yeah. And Marie,
Is there a similar discussion in France, or?
Yes, there is a discussion, and I think most of the people think it's better to translate towards your maternal language and not a new language. But I think you can find a solution with two persons. Sometimes it works this way, a binôme, that works together, and one is for the good comprehension of the first language, and the other is better at finding the solutions. But I think maybe it's also interesting in to use the language like a material, and it's a strange material for someone who wasn't born with this language. So I think it's an interesting experiment.
Yeah. You have no experience of this yet, so so. Oh yeah. You're not a random person who knows the language, of course. It has to be a writer, somebody who's got talent. No, of course. Yeah. It can't be a random speaker. And I was wondering about the pitches that happen at book fairs. And what do you look out for apart from loving the language? Do you look at is a prize is important, or what else is important for you as a criteria? Shall we start with you?
I would say, of course, sales figures, prizes are important, but it all depends what kind of titles are you looking for. So, for example, when it comes to commercial, that I'm taking care of, there are not so many prizes, right? Because the prizes are given to literary fiction. So here I would say rather, sales figures, but also the comparison titles and how the book is pitched, actually, and if does it fit the gaps that we are having in our program.
And do prizes matter to you?
Prize,
like a literary prize, like a book.
Of course. A prize. Like prizes might make things very competitive in Turkey. I don't know if it's like that, but when the long list of a prize is it feels like a race. But in a book fair, I believe it's important for a literary fiction to, if it's already translated to certain languages, if it's already started traveling the world, we would want to be part of it. I believe if it shouldn't be, obviously very specific to the country, the international themes would be important. For nonfiction, I would say who the author is. And for Turkish market, I'm afraid the page count is important, because the trend in Turkey for a while, I should say Turkey, for a while is shorter books are well received than the big ones. And for children's, I would check the style, I think. Yes.
Yeah, maybe the running joke about the amount of poetry readers in each country is 300, so it's not important if a book has won some prizes, or so the success is everywhere similar, so it's not important for us. So I think it's more important to see how the book or the author, poet matches into our publishing house, fits to the other books that we have already. So we are only into younger and living writers. So because we do a lot of events, and it's important to have them, and it's the best to promote the books if you can work with the writers as well. So there are some colleagues that are only into dead writers. I can understand it somehow too, but I think it's more a personal approach to find the book, and I think our publication is more like my favorites, and not like saying it could be, we are always doing the best book from Poland or something like that. Maybe it's even not. It's maybe to find the other writers that are not so included into the scene, or to find the outsiders.
I just wanted to add that I think that you just need to follow your gut feeling. Sometimes you just know, you just hear the pitch, you hear how the person who is presenting the book to you, how he or she is speaking about the book, more or less what is it about, and then you feel that it's something unique, something special. And then you are checking it out. And sometimes you know that it's just the one book that you really fell in love with and you want to publish.
Yeah. And do you think do you also look for that balance between universal and local? So, or is it not at all important for? It's mostly the voice again. No. Marie, do you want to say why not, or is it the voice? The voice.
I don't know. It's not a question I have in mind.
No, not at all.
Not at all. Not at all.
Okay.
Because
we're trying to work out why how their books travel across cultures. So it's that sort of.
Well, I think maybe I have the feeling that if it moves me, it can move someone else. It's kind of arrogant, maybe, but it's how I feel. I don't ask myself this kind of question.
Okay. Okay, don't.
But maybe, I think if you doing a program with several titles, you have to think about things like not to match all the topics, love, crime, things, but sometimes there's maybe a young poet from your city, and then somebody translated, and then is something like more political, something more for the feeling, for the good vibes and things like that. To keep that in balance, that's important, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I think that the diversity is also very important. So, for example, we had the talk with our boss that when we bought already this one Australian title, it means that for now I won't buy any other Australian novel, right? So that's why we are more open for other languages, because we want to have, when we are building up the list from scratch, from nothing, to have like diversity of the voices as well, to present the people like different genres from different countries.
Do you and your publishing houses use co-agents in any areas? Because and generally agents. So how does it work in? Because I know that in Poland there are some agents that will then sell books abroad. The same in Turkey. Do your publishing houses use co-agents for that?
For buying,
For selling. I guess for buying scouts and then for selling.
Sell maybe.
And do you have a scout? No.
Because we don't sell really, so maybe at all.
You don't sell because you don't want to, because you can't. Sorry.
Because like our catalog is mainly based off translations, we have very few Turkish authors, and in Turkey, authors usually themselves has agents, so we just give the translation rights to them. But if they need help, we do, but we don't have a catalog for our authors, etc. Who uses agents?
Yeah, sorry. In our case, it's I do work with some co-agents for certain countries because I do believe that the co-agents that have better known of the market itself, and for example, when it comes to Asia, I think that they know how to better focus on the publishing houses that our books can travel, you know. So I'm trying, as I said, because it's something totally new for me, so I still treat it as a challenging and fun to try to sell the rights to Polish authors, although I know how hard it is in any like specific like majority languages at all, but I still see a chance and fun to do it like personally. But I do believe that working in a certain countries, it's good to have a co-agent who knows the market really, really well. I will give an example of France. I really tried, but the French people, they are so close, they don't really want to, it's hard to reach them. Maybe not all of them, so don't take it personally, but I really tried. So I asked lately one of my friends if he will help me to reach some French publishers, because without this help, I will be lost. I know that I won't reach them at all.
I don't take it personally because Noir sur Blanc is publishes a lot of,
you put a lot of
Polish writers. Not I personally, but
You know what I meant.
yeah. And Adrian, presumably you have no. How do you? Where would your research come from if it's not scouts or?
Yeah, I think I like to work personally and to meet the people at some events like here or at festivals or readings. But nevertheless, there are some authors that come to us by agents or by the help of agents. For example, we're working now a lot with authors from Czechia because of the of Frankfurt Book Fair and guests of honor that will be in autumn. And we in the last 3 years we worked a lot with agents from Czech Republic. But yeah, it's like there are some countries where you don't have the key to, and where it's where you need some help, and then it's good to have it. So I'm not so yeah.
Yeah, and how do you, because you attend all the, many book fairs, book festivals, how do you see global trends of translated literature changing? And do you think things have changed in your countries? Because in the UK, things have certainly changed for the better. And there are more independent publishing houses doing it, there are more initiatives, there's more reviews, reviews generally, there are not that many, but there are more reviews of translated books. So there is a certain, it's not only sitting in the corner of a bookshop anymore. Now these books now have, are often on main tables. Obviously in your countries it would be different because they were on main tables before.
Yes, but in France it has recently changed, but in the bad way. A lot of publishing houses diminuate the number of translated literature they publish. And, for instance, Actes Sud, Gallimard, Grasset, they are all diminuting the number because it's more expensive and it doesn't sell like it used to. So when I arrived at Notabilia, at the beginning, the director, the administrative director, told me maybe you can stop with foreign literature, because when I arrived at this collection, it was half translated and half French. And the director told me, well, maybe you can just go on with the foreign writers which are in the list already, but don't buy anymore. And Vera Michalski, the president, which is very fond of foreign literature, who created the publishing house for foreign literature, she told me, Marie, we must be very clear, you don't stop foreign literature. No, not at all. But I will do 1/3 only and not half anymore. So even here.
Don't know whether you have anything to add, but
I hesitated because for us maybe I can say more about Turkish markets. I also see that because of the economical problems with the currency and everything, more and more publishers have been more conservative about how to spend their money. And maybe this would be something good for the Turkish literature, I don't know, because some of the big publishers stopped buying, licensing books from other languages and started building their own Turkish lists. And we will see. But for us, it's steady, I would say.
In France, we have a lot of literary festival, and because of the despair of the Ministry of Culture, all the helps have been decreasing, and now a lot of festivals told us we cannot invite anymore so many foreign writers because it's more expensive for them to come, and so it's very general. It's in the bookshops, people are buying less foreign books. In the publishing house, we are publishing less foreign books, and now in the festival, people meet less foreign writers. So it's a bad circle, vicious circle.
Yeah. And I guess for smaller, for lesser translated languages, that would be an even bigger problem, because often it's how do you find out a book from, I don't know, exactly a Faroe Island or, do you have any questions? I can carry on, but but maybe they will have more interesting questions. No? No questions?
Laura had one.
Oh, great. So what languages do you publish more often on your lists? Yes, is that the question more or less? You would like to publish on your lists?
In my list, when I arrived at Notabilia, there are some Scandinavian writers and Latino American. But well, I will go on with the writers who are already in the list. But well, my favorite places in the world are around the Mediterranean and the Middle East. So I put my efforts on these areas.
I might say more neighbor countries like Bulgaria, maybe Czechia. I say the Turkish, Romanian. I hope we will have more opportunity to learn about those markets and those literatures, I would say.
Yeah, you know, not only the smaller publishing houses, but also the bigger ones are more and more dependent on funding. But I would like to translate more from countries where they don't have any funding for that. So imagine Greece 3 or 5 years ago, where there wasn't any Greek lids, and even in those times it was important to translate and to be in charge of these languages. And I would like to translate more from African languages, but it's hard to do.
Yeah, we've just published, we're publishing a book from Georgia, and there is funding, but then the funding comes with certain obligations, so people often don't want to use the funding. So I think it's the sort of politics of it all as well, that you end up publishing the writers that the country suggests rather than really choosing. So yeah.
Because in the beginning you mentioned something like along the lines of some Turkish person in Germany translates German in German, like a book. Witcher, if you know it. Like everyone is saying like the Polish book is way different than the English translation. Like whoever translates the English version lost. Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry, I don't know if you listen to any what I say. So, what I'm asking is like, for example, for this example, like the Witcher book, the English translation, everyone mentioned like it loses a lot of the Polish, like I don't know, like the language, the how people talk, the jokes, the culture maybe. So maybe in that case, a Polish person translating to English could possible.
Yeah, could do a better job.
Yes,
Yeah, a more
that's what
interesting
I'm
job.
saying.
Yeah.
And if it's something acceptable, like maybe after some years to retranslate a book, how maybe
Yeah.
a publisher will think about it. I don't
So have people criticized the translation of The Witcher
I am
officially,
Greek,
or is it
working in Czech Republic, so I know a lot of Czech people. They tell me the Czech version is better translated. Maybe because of the Slavic connection.
I haven't written the English version of The Witcher, so I cannot really tell. But from what I know from the translators as well, you have right, because it's really, in a way, hard to translate Polish book into English, because sometimes it loses, I mean, the sense of humor or the flexia or whatsoever. So it's like definitely challenging for a translator, but doesn't mean that it's unbelieved to do so. So, for example, I don't know if you have heard about another fantasy author from Poland, which is Dukaj and the Ice. So the translation of the Ice took the translator to do, I don't know, over 10 years or something like that, because it was so challenging because of the wording and everything. And she tried to do her best, and she was nominated even for one of the prizes, if I'm not mistaken. So it's doable. I don't know what kind of translator did The Witcher, but maybe the UK publisher should retranslate it. So this is the question.
I read the English, like 5 of the books. I find it interesting, but I always wonder how it's different in Polish. Like I cannot learn Polish now, but it's always in my mind like, oh my God, how different it could be, because everyone is telling me the same thing.
Okay, so I cannot really
Yeah.
answer
But
that question
yeah,
because
I
I
just
haven't
want to
read the
mention.
English version. But you know, I think that also with The Witcher is very specific, because all the fandom of The Witcher, they are really crazy fans. So they are even like complaining about the TV series. I don't mind the TV series. So you know, it's always like part of both sides of the
balance.
I wanted to just to say an anecdote. Many years ago, I saw a discussion because between two very good translators in France. One is Claro, he translated from English, and he has translated Thomas Pynchon and Volman and crazy writers. And the other is Andrei Markovitch, who translates from Russian to French and who has retranslated all the novels of Dostoevsky. And they were talking together about translation. And the one, Claro, had this theory, thinking that even if the translator is bad, when it's a masterpiece, you can feel it when you're reading the bad translation. Well, what you say seems to prove the opposite. I don't know. I'd like that. I like that idea, but maybe it's just rubbish.
But sometimes translations improve.
I'll tell him.
But sometimes translations also improve on the original, so it it sort of varies from. Any more questions? No? In that case, I would like to say thank you to our esteemed panel and to our audience. Thank you.